All right, so got some Last of Us Part 2 updates I want to go over. I want to start here with Metacritic because this is really where a lot of the frustration that the bigger game websites are having with fans right now. It all comes from this. As you can see, the user score is still negative, sitting at a 4.1. That's risen from a 3.3. I do expect the game to level out probably somewhere between a 5 and a 6. I think that that's where you're going to see it end up as more and more people go over there and rate the game after they've played it. Interesting, though, we have 2 new mixed reviews from the journalists. That's surprising because, as you can see, there's not one negative review for the game from them, which is also pretty interesting. I think mixed is about the most you'll see from them because they're all dishonest hacks, and they'll never be honest with you about anything. The mixed reviews are rising a little bit on the user scores, though as you can see, the negative still heavily outweighs everything. And this is what's causing all the problems. Now, the game is still selling very well, but most of that has to do with pre-orders and stuff like that. I will say you can likely find a used copy pretty easily. I ended up finding a used copy pretty quickly. I got one yesterday off of Facebook Marketplace. So I have started to play through the game. I will probably do a live stream and talk about it. I should have the game beaten by Saturday. So Saturday, I will likely do a live stream and talk about it and a few other things. And we'll go over what I think about the game on Saturday. So far, I'm not very happy with it. The gameplay is good, though. The gameplay is as good as the first one was. I'm not digging the story, though. And I already knew I wasn't, but I really do want to go through it. I was just waiting for a used copy because I don't want to give Naughty Dog any money. So I figured, well, I can get a used copy, and that way Naughty Dog gets $0 from me, and I give a little bit of money back to some guy who paid $60 for the game, and he gets a little bit of money back. So I look at it as like a good compromise to get through it. I'm not giving Naughty Dog a cent ever again. So, sorry, Naughty Dog. You lost my money for life with the way you handled this situation, going around copywriting channels and trying to take down people's livelihoods. That was a bad, stupid move. So anyway, let's move on. I want to hit up some of these stories real quick. So a lot of people were talking about this yesterday. Last of Us 2 praised by HBO series producer. Now, I actually think that the show might be good because they have the Sharon Noble guy coming in and doing the show. Could be a good show. I don't really think too much about this. I think that, what is he supposed to say? That he hated it? The guy's he's making a series. So I don't think too much about this. I actually think this guy could put on a good show. So I'm cautiously optimistic about HBO's The Last of Us. We'll see, but as of right now, I don't really think too much about him praising the game because what is he going to do? Come out and say it sucks? That's not really a very professional thing to do. Naturally, he's going to come out and say anything Last of Us is great. It's the bestest, greatest thing in the world because he's got a show to hype. So I do think this is a little bit of damage control too. Hey, I think the game's good. Don't worry, our series is going to be great. Also, Neil Druckmann is going to write stuff for that series. That kind of has me going, ugh, I don't know. But I'm going to give it an honest chance. We'll see. We'll see. I will review that series when it comes out for sure. And then we got this. So, more dishonest stuff. 2 articles here, actually, that I wanted to touch on. The Last of Us Part 2, breaking down what players hate in the game. And it's, of course, a lot of it has to do with, because of Ellie. Ellie likes ladies. Nope, sorry. That was established in the first game. We've known for years that Ellie likes the ladies. Not something that was really being complained about at all. This article right here really goes into it from CNET. Very dishonest. And that's one of the things. This is what these dishonest clowns do. So they'll say, well, it's because Ellie likes girls, which isn't the case at all. Nobody is really saying anything about that. Like I said, we've known Ellie's preferences since the first game. No one cares. At least I would say the majority of people don't care. That's not what people are upset about. But, it's Access Media's job to explain why there's 22,000 negative reviews over on Metacritic. They've got to explain that for the normies. So what do? Well, that's just a bunch of istaphobes. They don't like that. They don't like that Ellie's lady lover. So because of that, they're going to go and do this and lie and say all this stuff. And it's just a joke. They also talk about Abby, which I do not like Abby at all. And I almost wonder if her teammates don't like her at all because, you look at the size of them arms on Abby and you wonder, does maybe the people that she lives with resent her for taking a little bit of the extra protein that she would most assuredly need to grow gigantic arms like that, especially because she is a woman? And that's not no, maybe if she juiced. So I don't know, but more dishonesty. And we have, of course, the winner right here. This was by far the biggest thing. This dropped on Monday. It's Last of Us Part 2, the Ansale review. This, of course, has spoilers in it for those of you that care or somehow managed to live under a rock and not hear any of them. A very, very terrible review, as you can tell by the title, right? It's a parody, trying to, dig on those guys that don't like the game. And I'll read you a little bit of it. I'm sitting in my bedroom surrounded by Fight Club posters, and I'm ready to play Last of Us Part 2. The Last of Us is one of my favorite games for many reasons. The main one being that Joel Miller is the most relatable, heroic video game character ever conceived. His gruff face, his beard, his flannel shirt. He's the perfect protagonist. He tortures people, but that's only because he's a tortured soul himself. He doesn't wear his heart on his sleeve, but he has a heart of gold pounding beneath that plaid. Some people paint Joel as a villain due to the fact that he guns down a load of doctors at the end of the original game. These disgusting surgeons wanted to fashion a cure from Ellie to save the world, but here's the catch. A surgery will kill her. As previously established, Joel's real daughter is dead. And who will be his new daughter if he lets Ellie die here? Exactly. So you can see where they're going. Painting Joel as a villain, which is the thing. And you could try to do that, but it's too bad that most people can relate to Joel that are normal, because if they have children themselves, they would know that, what Joel did is pretty relatable to a normal person. But they have to go out of their way to paint him, because taking him out the way they did had a huge backlash. So, I'm surprised they haven't wrote pieces like Joel's a misogynist and stuff like that. I really am. And I almost want to bet you, in fact, I would probably place money on it, that within the next month, you will see articles saying Joel was toxic manhood or something like that. I'm sure it'll happen. But this is just probably one of the stupidest pieces of journalism that I've seen come out so far. Well, not journalism, but written by, games journalists. I find it, do these people realize that they're so disconnected from the people they're supposed to be trying to speak with and speak to, the gamers? They're so far away from us, and I don't think they really even understand it. Or maybe they do. But rest assured, they see it as you being the problem, not them. Not them. So listen to this. Now I'm playing as someone called Abby. I'm not sure who this is, but I'm not convinced on her proportions. It's a scientific fact that women can't grow muscles, and I'm frankly terrified of being pounded into dust by a henchwoman. Yesterday, I pulled my shoulder out when opening a pack of super noodles. See what I'm saying? So, yes, women can grow muscles, but for a woman to grow arms like Abby, okay, it's very, very rare. And because I've seen like bodybuilder women, you know, with arms like those, but here's the thing. That takes a lot of dedication. I mean, it's practically a full-time job. And this goes the same for men too. Like for men to become get those bodybuilder, you know, muscles, the big, like look at like, you know, how Arnold used to look. Like even that's a full-time job even for them. And I would say probably harder for a woman to look like that. And a lot of the times, many supplements are taken to look like that. I'm going to go ahead and say that those supplements probably don't exist in the Last of Us world. And Abby's said to run missions and be very active and, you know, stuff like that. So where does she have the time to dedicate, you know, 8-something hours a day to training and working out to grow that body? You know, I'm sorry, that's just, it's just talking anti-SJW stuff. That's not how it is. It's impossible for her to look like that unless she's in the gym every day, eating a very strict, expensive diet that most assuredly does not exist in the Last of Us universe, and supplements to help get you there don't exist either, okay? In a situation where, you know, just going to an abandoned grocery store is a matter of life and death, I don't think that scavenger crews are going to spend time finding supplements for baddie Abby. So, no. That's one of the problems that I personally have with it. And yeah, it's just a video game, but it's just they're doing it to add it. It's almost like they want you to not like her and feel bad for not liking her. I just don't get it. I think she's a terrible protagonist. I've only seen her a little bit in the game so far, but I've seen the whole story. I know who she is, and I think people not liking her is pretty justified. But, you know, what do I know? Neil Druckmann, of course, seems to be losing it, as you can see right here. What I found funny is he's saying that, oh, Anita worked on the game in this. He's saying, like, unreliable sources. Now, the funny thing here is no one has said Anita worked on the game. I personally said I think she inspired him, and he said so himself. She was hanging around Naughty Dog and stuff like that. I think she had heavy influence on that game, 100%. Big influence on that game because she influenced Neil Druckmann. He quotes her and shows pictures of her work in a presentation that he gave on what inspired him on The Last of Us. That's what's really funny about this. And I would show you that clip, but he'd probably DMCA it. So, fortunately, not going to be able to show you that. But anyway, that's all I got. The line continues, and I expect it to keep continuing for a while. I don't think the story is going to calm down anytime soon, but I'll try to keep this to like at least just one video out of my 3, not, you know, multiple. And I like doing it like this and covering everything at once. I think that it's the good way to go, and it kind of give you a good update to what's going on. I'm expecting Access Media to keep going crazy about this game for at least a few more days. So we'll see how it goes. But I'm interested in this. I think it's fascinating and hilarious to watch this play out with Access Media. So anyway, that's all I got, guys. Thanks for watching. Let me know your comments. What do you think about all of this? What are your thoughts on all this? I want to hear your thoughts. Also, if you would throw a like up, I'd appreciate that. Share the video. I'd appreciate that as well. Also, make sure you're still subscribed. Subscribe if you're new. Hit that notification bell, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace. Also, if you want to help support the channel, check out my Teespring store. There's a link in the description. You can find some merchandise in there that you might want to check out.